So as I left off in the last video, my friend E-Man was coming over to hang out in the garage, and just before we were about to sit down, I noticed something different about him. I felt like I could now see what was going on with him. Just a week before, I couldn't see anything that was around him. I know I could feel things because I was always the one that could feel. But when I was really young, like I said before, I could see. But as I got older, I had to hide it since I was suppressing my ability so much that I didn't want anyone to find out truly what I was. That, it made my ability stagnant. It made me not be able to utilize them as I used to when I was younger. And so with me being able to see this thing on his back, it scared me. But, I still went into, ask him about like what I'm seeing. I'm like, what is this that I'm seeing that's on your back? I told him that I feel like it was saying things because I saw red eyes and I saw a mouth, and it was a black mass cloud that was attached to his back. And it was like it was laying on him, whispering into his ear. He took about 2 minutes to get back to me, but then when he did get back to me, he told me that he did hear this voice at night, and it would tell him to do bad things. And sometimes he would actually go through with doing it. And, the discussion just kind of ended there. It ended there. We did hang out for a while longer. He ended up leaving. When it was time to go back inside, my older brother was there. I would always talk to him about things that were happening. I asked him about, what it could possibly be. And his response to me was, that he was already waiting for me. He was waiting for me to come talk to him about these things because he felt like it was time. So this was a big deal to me, guys. The reason why it was a big deal to me is because I was so skeptical. He was the guy that believed in, extraterrestrials and UFOs and different races that were not human, and different worlds and dimensions. He believed in those kind of things. I didn't understand it. I had never really experienced it, so I didn't believe it. But the tables have turned these days because now I'm the one that's fully immersed in that stuff. I've had abductions, I've had visitations, activations, like many different things, downloads and visions and travels to all these different worlds and met many different beings. It's crazy how many, different beings that there are out there. But this really, it really made me feel good to get confirmation and reassurance about, my abilities and that I wasn't going crazy. That was the most important part. After we talked and discussed about this, a couple months go down the line, and it's my junior year. We're talking, we start getting close and connected to a certain individual. And after we got connected to this person, we really started to see that this person was really different. I really saw that there was something weird that was going on. And it also felt like there were ties to my timeline and my connections with my guides. It felt like there was this whole cluster of, just energy that was the same. And there was a story to tell, but I didn't truly know exactly what was going on, until some time. I won't really get into this story because this story is way too long. But over time, we realized that this person actually was, gifted. But at the same time, I felt like this person seemed to be two different people, because this person would show me one side of himself, and then there would be another side that was really nice. There was one side that was really, cold and unforgiving and judgmental and everything in the book. Then there was another side that was really nice and giving and really there for you. Really wanted to make sure everything's okay. Really just go, make sure you're good. Because you're a friend and you're close, and this is how it works for friends and family. Then I started feeling like, something wasn't right. Like there was a glitch in the matrix. And there was, because the day that I pointed that out was the day that this individual just completely changed as a person. When I realized that this actually, because it seemed like it was a split personality to me, but it actually was a spirit that was within this person acting like it was the person. So then when it comes out, I'm communicating with this spirit that basically tells me everything that was going on and what it did and how it made connections to get me to connect with this specific person so that I could listen to my guides more. It was a whole sort of a game to them just to get me to listen to my guides, because I was so skeptical of this work and the path of psychic and awareness. Like it really made me believe after this. And since that day, my life really changed. My life really changed when I called that out. After I called that out, I started learning that, there's many different languages and there is non-human dialect. There are different dimensions of existence. There are many different planes. Not only is there the spirit world, but there are many other worlds that are out there that some of us just are naturally drawn to, or we just go there. You have access. You can connect to these people or these places. It's insane to me, but nevertheless, it still has happened, and it still does happen to me. I still do go to these places and connect. After the fact of all of this happening, before all of this mess hit the fan about me calling out the spirit that was within this person, it got really strange because I started learning and hearing about this different language that wasn't a human language. See, my guide and this other being that was within, this person, they were in cahoots. They were working together on this. They were really like working together. They orchestrated that entire thing. Like I was saying, I was convinced that this language was Wiccan language, that Wiccan women can speak that because of the fact that the great grandmother of this individual was Wiccan. She was a high priestess. So I was convinced that this was actually a Wiccan language because that's what I was told every time I would ask about what I was actually hearing. But it later came to be known as, this was dialect. This was the language of the spirits. Language of beings that are not of this world. Not of the human existence, not of this world. The vibration was different when I would hear it. After I took note of that and listened to how I felt and listened to, what my intuition was telling me, that's when I decided to just blow the lid off of this thing and say, hey, I feel like you're not who you say you are. And when I did that, that's when the spirit came out. I had a split with this person. We had a huge falling out. And the spirit admitted to everything that was going on. And like I said, it was just, they do that just so you could pay attention. It was just so I could pay attention to my guides. Because I said that I wanted to go down this path. And that's what they told me. You chose this. In the beginning, when I was talking about, what was happening. You chose this. You said that you wanted to do this. You want to go down this path. This is what you have to do. And even in the present day, at that time, she said that. She told me the same thing. You chose to go down this path. This is what you want to do. You don't want to listen. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to make you listen. And that's how they made me listen. That's how they made me start paying attention. And that day, from that day on, I really started just fully devoting my life to it. I really learned more and I matured more. I started going to get more books. I raised my vibration. The light sensitivities that I had when I started meditating and learning more about it, because listening to my guides and listening to my intuition, I actually learned how to stop myself from being so sensitive to those things. I was helped through that. I was guided through that. It opened my eyes to a whole new world. It made things a lot more simple. Things seemed to be so complicated when they were so simple. From then on, I really just started, that's when I started getting into readings. I had never really been into, I'd never really been drawn to tarot. I had never done it. I never understood it. So that wasn't my thing. My thing was really crystals. I was very connected to crystals. So I started buying crystals. The first ever crystal that I ever had and bought was a black tourmaline crystal. It's amazing. Helped with dreams, helped with so many different things. Then I got, a black tektite crystal. Black tektite is just off the charts amazing. Helped with telepathy. Helped with dream states, helped with my crown. It really aligned all of my chakras. It helped with a whole lot of things. It made things so much better for me working with crystals. Then I started doing readings for people because I was confident enough to do them. Then I realized that I also had the same abilities that my friend was showing me when we were sophomores. That I had the same things, that I was able to do all of these things. And then that's when I took it in and I embraced the fact that these things are actually normal. These are normal abilities. This is normal. They are gifts. And it's up to us to choose whether or not we want to hone in on them. Some of the experiences that I had after all of these events took place, they're profound. I began being abducted. I began having extreme anxiety. But that's only because of the fact that I had awareness of different entities that were around me that were in a different vibration. So I learned about the vibration that many beings are in when they come to you. I learned the difference between higher and lower vibrations. I also, later down the line got a visitation from, I actually don't even know what to call this being, but I got a visitation from this being, and he basically taught me the language that I was wondering about. I was questioning it, and I tapped into the ability to be able to speak that language. Over the years, I was able to really get better and better and better at it. In the beginning, I felt like there was an ability. I didn't have the ability to translate it. I didn't know what it was. But the universe works in amazing ways, because I've met people who actually speak the specific language and specific tongue that I spoke. That helped me to understand it more, and helped me realize that that language is a direct connection and link to who I actually am. And many people would call it, an ET language. People would call it, non-human origins. People would call it, linguistics, whatever. But this is me. And I am psychic. And I realize I am psychic. That's the reason why I love what I do. All of my experiences brought me to this, to this point right now. It brought me to, being able to work as a psychic and help people embrace their abilities and their gifts, help them get to their point of being on their feet and being able to teach what they went through as well, to keep someone else from making the same mistakes that they made. That's the reason why I love this path. That's the reason why I chose it. Because I'd love to give the love and make sure that no one is shunned or frowned upon because they have abilities or gifts, and that there's an understanding and a clarity to what that world and that path is like. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Until next time.